Hi guys, it's us again. I'm Alia,
Hi, and I'm Aku.
and for some reason we've decided to call ourselves the Double A Battery. So that's how our introduction will be from now on.
Yes.
Anyway, so as we mentioned last video, we have our third installment,
Mhm.
but this time we're gonna do it a little bit differently. We just want to shake things up a little bit. So instead of reacting to the third hero video, we're kind of gonna do like a breakdown
Yeah,
sort of
essentially.
thing,
Yeah.
highlighting some important parts of the video.
Mm.
Just a little bit different.
I mean, this video is a little bit different too from the other two.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good video though.
Go watch it.
Yeah. Before we get into like the actual breaking down of the hero video, I kind of wanted to talk about trafficking
Mm.
and what trafficking is. And usually at Project Liberate, we like to use this thing called the AMP model.
Yeah.
So act, means, and purpose. So that would equate to trafficking persons.
Yeah.
And to kind of break it down a little bit, the act is usually how the trafficker recruits, or if they provide something to the victim, or they transport the victim to another location, or they harbor the victim. So basically, keep them hostage kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And for the means aspect of trafficking, that's usually if they use threat or they use force,
Yeah.
or they persuade the victim. So or even kidnap. That's quite a straightforward way, but
Mm. Not
often
rare.
not rare though.
Yeah.
Yeah, often now people tend to lie or scam the victims
Yeah.
and give them like false benefits,
Yeah.
which you'll see a little bit of in
Mm-hmm.
our breakdown.
Yeah.
And the purpose of trafficking will usually be for labor exploitation, sexual exploitation, organ removal, or like other forms of exploitation. But it's always for the profit of the traffickers.
Yeah.
That's like the gist of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that clear enough?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you guys will know now, like, act means, the action of the traffickers, and then means is how they, you know, go on with the action that they needed to take, and then purpose is why they're doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just a little explanation of how trafficking usually works,
Mm-hmm.
or what constitutes as trafficking. So now
Yeah.
that you guys have a little bit of, a background about trafficking, we'll go into the breaking down the video for you, the hero video. So as I mentioned, like in the AMP model, there's the act and the means. So quite often it might happen concurrently, like it happens together. And this is, I think, exactly the case for our main character in this hero video 3,
Yeah.
Jesslyn, or you'll know her as Linksy Cat.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think the act and means for this one definitely comes together with the, suspicious email that comes along with the lie and like trickery when it comes to the benefits that she's about to get.
Yeah.
Because she was, what you guys can see from the video is she was recruited for like a gaming competition, right? And she was technically lied about the offers and the benefits that she could gain, which one of the biggest thing was the 100,000 USD winning
Yeah,
prize.
winning prize. That's a huge amount.
Yeah, which is a lot, especially for like Malaysians,
Yeah,
like,
that would be like 400K
yeah, I think,
ringgit.
yeah,
Yeah.
almost reaching 5 lakh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. So I mean, if you were to be in her position, which is like, an avid gamer and whatnot, it's like you would want to take this chance, because you would think that you don't get this all the time, this might not come by again. So the act and the means came together for this one, because the trickery and the recruiting came together.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. And like, you can see like in the email that they provide transportation,
Mm-hmm.
they
Yeah.
provide accommodation. Like that's a good opportunity,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, that's usually the case of like displacement too, like they
Mm,
will provide you all of these accommodations and help getting there
yeah, yeah,
so that you don't have to think about it. So then it further makes you like, oh, okay, this is easy. I just sign
yeah,
up and I don't have to think about anything, and I can win an easy prize.
Yeah, especially because like the next scene here, where like it's the WhatsApp chat between her
Mm,
and the PIC lah, I guess.
yeah,
The person says that okay, she'll take the plane, and then somebody will wait for her at the airport, and they'll bring her to the
yeah,
accommodation or to wherever the center is.
yeah,
So it sounds pretty legit,
yeah.
all things considered. But yeah, I guess if you want to be like mindful or be like really careful if you ever get these kinds of emails or like
Mm.
things, you can look at the email address
Email
itself,
address, yeah.
that you can see like for this one it looks a bit real, but at the same time
Like,
like Game Express,
yeah,
yeah,
like it's a little like the difference is very minor, but like if
yeah,
you pay really good attention to it, like you can definitely notice it,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And not just emails. Now we get like texts
Text
and
messages,
calls
yeah,
too,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah,
Like it happens to a lot of people, especially like active job seekers. Like I know when I
yeah,
was actively looking for
looking,
a job, like I would just randomly get a message and like, hey, we have blah blah blah, and I was like, where did you even get my number from? Like I don't
exactly,
remember applying for your company, you know.
yeah, yeah,
And then they're just like, no, we find it from blah 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 blah. And I was like, no, I'm. That's why you need to, be mindful of. Like, remember where remember your tracks.
yeah.
Definitely, so that you know which company and what kind of jobs that you apply for, so then you can, keep track of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like
And
make a
yeah,
list or something.
yeah, yeah, and always double check like where the email address comes from,
Mm-hmm.
the company and everything.
Yeah.
Always make sure to cover your ass, basically.
Yeah, essentially. And
Yeah,
the numbers too, like if you know how to trace the numbers, or like if the number looks too suspicious, or like
yeah,
a foreign number or something,
yeah.
then it should give that away, that this might not be real.
Real,
Yeah.
yeah, or not be as legit as you think it may be.
Yeah, and you could also take a further step too when you're actually looking and applying. Like, look
Mm-hmm.
at the ads itself.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm.
like it might, like, for like Lindsay Cat's case, right? Like it looks too good to be true, stuff like that. Then it definitely
Usually is too good to be true.
yeah, exactly. And you
Yeah.
could take a further step by like googling the company name
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot.
And the competition name, even like, is
Mm-hmm.
there like a legitimate like website? Are people talking about
Exactly.
it?
Yeah. Go to like
Yeah.
LinkedIn, to
Yeah.
see like the staff that's working there, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like these could happen to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Like the approach to this is getting a bit more,
Sophisticated.
yeah, and
Yeah.
aggressive, I would say, because they're really, really doing it like without any hesitation now.
Yeah. And like going back to the AMP model, like we've talked about the act and the means, and now we want to look at the purpose. If you can see, like in the video, people are talking about her being part of a scam mill.
Yeah.
She even tried to recruit her friend or her follower. And then you see all the news articles popping up talking about the scamdemic,
Yeah.
and um, that's definitely the reason why she was recruited, why she was
Mm.
trafficked. Let's say
Yeah.
they were trafficking her to use her labor. It might
Yeah.
not be physical labor, but it's definitely still exploiting her for her labor of scamming others.
Yeah. Yeah.
That still takes work for her.
Yeah.
So that's what they're using her for.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess so for some people, it might be hard to like sympathize or empathize with the situation,
Yeah.
because I know a lot of Malaysians do get scammed.
Yeah.
And it's a very, very like heart wrenching, very difficult thing to go through. But I guess for me, I also try to remember the other side. Like, in Jesslyn's situation, she didn't want to go there to scam other people,
Yeah, yeah.
you
She
know?
thought that she was actually going to a legit thing.
Yeah.
And she might even get scammed by someone who also got trafficked.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
person that like reached out to her could also be a trafficked victim.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And you know, there's a lot of movies and TV shows out there, right, that talk about like scamming mills and like things like that, and they always portray um, this, I guess, the environment as being quite dingy. Is that the
Mm,
word? Like
yeah.
very dark, and like if you're not like they also have KPIs. You know what I mean? This is
Yeah.
something I talked about with somebody from Cybersecurity Malaysia. You can think of like these syndicates as like companies or organizations. They have
Yeah.
their different departments doing different things. So they have the scamming department, but who works in the scamming department?
Yeah.
They get those people through their trafficking department. So
Yeah.
they traffic people and they bring them to the scamming department, and then they do all of those things. It's very
Yeah.
sophisticated, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and not everyone is there by choice.
Yeah.
Maybe some. I'm not saying all,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you
We're
know,
not
but
saying that like all
yeah,
scammers are, you know, traffic
trafficked
victims.
victims.
Like
But
some of
yeah,
them might actually like want and choose to do that for a living.
yeah,
But
exactly.
it's not a rare case lah. We're saying
Yeah,
that like, you know, like they could also be a traffic victim and they don't actually want to do it.
yeah, it happens, you know,
Yeah. And it's
and
not that if they don't want to do it, they can just like, no, I don't want to do that. You know, there's
yeah,
consequences, you know?
exactly. I mean, it's these syndicates are called syndicates for a reason. They're
Mm.
not good people.
Yeah.
They're not led by good people, and a lot of violence does happen. And so if you don't want to do something, or if you are not hitting your KPI, so to speak, then bad things are gonna happen to you. You
Yeah.
know, like
Like physical abuse, you know,
yeah,
possibly like, you know, if do you want to if you don't want to do the job, then you might be hit, you know, or
yeah,
like locked away, like isolation, which is essentially what happened to Lindsay Cat, you know?
yeah,
Like she's only there all the time. She works, eat, live, sleep, you know,
yeah,
all at in one place. She
yeah,
cannot go out. She doesn't even, like you guys see in the video, that she can't even go outside
yeah,
of that very room, you
yeah,
know? Or even like starvation, you know?
mm-hmm.
Like I know that is also one of the ways that people, like these, you know, syndicates will force the traffic victims to do the job. Like if you don't do it, you don't get
Mm-hmm.
food, or if you know, or I cut off your pay,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah. Or like yeah, the physical abuse definitely, and that for some of these people, there's no end to it. There's no limit.
Mm-hmm.
So I literally have this one story that I've told quite a few times to different people that I've spoken to, but I just think like it's a good like some
Example.
example,
Mm.
yeah, of trafficking in this kind of situation. So there's this boy, I would call him a boy, not a boy, but like he's a teenager. I think he was
I
about
mean, he was
19.
quite
He
young.
was young. He
Yeah.
was young, yeah. He was like 19 when this happened to him. I think either last year or the year before. Um, I I'll link the article, or I'll show
Yeah.
you guys the article. But basically, what happened was he's a student at an IPG, so that's a you're there to learn how to become a teacher
Yeah.
in Malaysia. So what happened was he told his parents that he was going to Bangkok to meet a friend of his, and that he would be back in time for his mom's birthday. But at first it was okay, like he was still communicating with his parents,
Mm-hmm.
but suddenly the communication stopped, and obviously his parents started worrying,
Yeah.
and he wasn't getting back in time for his mom's birthday. And then suddenly he contacted his parents just to tell them that he's fine, that he's doing okay, and that they don't have to worry. But obviously,
Yeah.
like,
As if that's not suspicious at
that's pretty
all, right?
suspicious. And obviously, his parents were like,
That doesn't sound right.
that doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
Something's not right. So they were like getting really worried. But at the same time, there was no way of them like actually tracing him,
Mm.
like
Yeah.
wherever he was, until a while after that, the parents got a call from a hospital or from a agency or an enforcement agency from Cambodia or Thailand.
At the
That
border.
yeah, at the border there, that their son um, passed away in the hospital due to like injuries that he sustained. And what happened was the traffickers basically dumped him at the hospital at the emergency department and said, "Yeah, take him. Like we don't know." And then the hospital also wasn't able to contact his family
Yeah.
because there was no identification
Yeah.
on him.
Yeah.
So it was really difficult, and he wasn't also in a responsive like uh,
Like state.
state.
Yeah, he wasn't
So
conscious probably.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it was really difficult, and unfortunately, because he was tortured and abused, he succumbed to his injuries and he unfortunately passed away. And it was a really really sad situation for his family lah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
imagine just having your son just disappeared for a while and said, "I'm gonna come back," but they never did,
yeah,
and then suddenly the next call that you find, get as
hmm,
an update is your son passing away. Like
yeah,
it's it's not just sad; it's tragic.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
this shouldn't,
Happen, you
yeah, this
know.
shouldn't be like, oh yeah, these things happen. Like no, like
Yeah,
it shouldn't be such a, like yeah, it
yeah,
happens
and
kind
it's
of
super
thing.
unfortunate because my next sentence after you said, like, before you said that, was gonna be like that. Unfortunately, that this is happening more often to Malaysians.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, a lot of Malaysians are getting trafficked abroad, like to forced to be scammers or whatever it is,
yeah.
or for sexual exploitation, right? So unfortunately, this is happening more often than we think,
Then it
but then
should.
it should.
Yeah,
And I mean, the numbers, you can check PDRM, you can check our Home Affairs ministry. The numbers are all there.
yeah.
Unfortunately, um, there's a lot of people that are still stuck in their situation because it's a difficult process. It's between one government and another government
Yeah,
trying to extract victims.
yeah,
It's not an easy task for anyone.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, this is
And most
just.
of the cases are undocumented too, so it's
Mm,
harder to like actually find out about it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I mean, yeah, because some people are going, yeah, like Linksy Cat for Jesslyn, she's going under the pretext of a gaming competition.
Mm.
So you're not gonna come under like
Like,
like like your labor ministry or
yeah,
something.
yeah,
Your records are not gonna be there.
yeah.
Or for some who go abroad to like the IPG student who's gonna go to Bangkok to meet his friend, right?
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
how
he's on
would
a
you?
traveling visa, not
Yeah,
like a work permit or
yeah,
whatever. Yeah,
yeah.
and even then, like these things can be like manufactured. Like
Mm.
people, the recruiters can like change it up or like give you
Yeah,
a wrong one or something. So
yeah,
it's harder
yeah.
to trace. If you were to come in with a work permit, um, and you're actually there to work, even if it's like a traffic job, then it's a lot easier to trace because then your contacts can like, hey, my blah 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 went to
Mhm.
blah 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 blah,
Yeah,
for work. So it's because it's still related, but like if you were to like be there to work, but then the visa that you got is like a traveling visa, then like it's not going to be recognized,
yeah,
like
exactly.
it's there, it's not linked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm. So yeah, it's really unfortunate situation all around. It's very complex. And just like Jesslyn, so for Linksy Cat, this this whole video is to show that being trafficked for whatever reason and whatever job that you end up being forced to do, it's going to be a difficult recovery.
yeah.
It's going to take a lot. People may suffer from depression, may suffer from PTSD.
Yeah.
And for example, Lindsay Cat's followers, they were bringing up her past, right, about being a scammer, being in a scam mill,
Yeah.
and all that. That brings up quite a lot of difficult memories for her,
Yeah.
also. And getting through all of that is not easy.
Yeah.
And having people judge you for the things that happen to you, how do you recover?
Yeah. Like you feel like you cannot even face society.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm sure she wasn't happy that she had to scam people.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
mean, unless if
you
you
know
actually choose to do it, then
yeah,
like I
unless,
don't think
yeah,
anyone would be happy
yeah,
to
exactly.
do anything that they don't want to do, especially when you are held hostage and like forced to
Yeah,
do it.
exactly. That your life is basically on the line.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. And not everyone is lucky enough to be rescued
Yeah,
alive and
yeah,
well as you can be.
yeah,
So I hope people like Linksy Cat can find peace.
yeah.
I hope that everyone else can also be as vigilant as you can be whenever you encounter any kind of opportunities.
Mm.
Simply because, with all the digitalized things that we have now, traffickers will also move just as
Mm,
fast as these changes.
yeah,
So unfortunately, they're using their smartness for not
the
great
wrong thing.
things.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. I mean, everything evolves. So does operations,
Mm-hmm.
and whether good or bad operations.
Yep. Exactly.
So with the rise of technology, not the rise lah, but like the evolved, evolution.
Evolution.
Yeah, the evolution of technology,
Yeah.
they will also evolve with it.
Mm-hmm.
And they will use everything that they can use
Yeah.
for their own benefits.
Yeah.
Just like how our schools or like universities or like companies will like change up their system with the new technologies,
Mm-hmm.
so will
Yeah.
these
Traffickers.
syndicates. Yeah,
Yeah.
because like Alia said just now, like it is at the end of the day an organization, it's a company,
Mm-hmm.
so just like any other company and organization or institution, they will evolve just as much as everyone else.
Yeah. So I really just hope everyone can, stay informed,
Yes,
stay vigilant. Yeah.
like keep reading these things, keep up with the news, that's how you can stay more aware. I mean, don't be too like scared and panicky, because that doesn't help either, but like
Yeah. Yeah.
stay
Just
updated
yeah.
will keep you more like, oh yeah, okay,
Yeah.
okay, I have to be more aware, I have to be more careful, like
Mm-hmm.
and it will keep on teaching you more things, like
Mm-hmm.
knowledge is a very important thing,
Yep.
the more you know, the better you will.
Be able to protect yourself.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. Find out about your country's resources and helplines,
Yeah.
so you can, for your own future references,
Yeah.
or for you to be able to help other people,
Mm-hmm.
if you were to find out something about like your own family or friends, or like even a stranger, like links and cat, then you are able to help them,
Yep.
and you are able to help yourself,
Mm-hmm.
you know
So yeah, I hope you guys will watch the hero video. We'll link it
as usual.
as usual, and yeah, stay tuned for our other upcoming content because there will be
More.
more things. Maybe we might do ASMR. Who knows?
I mean, wouldn't that be a little bit interesting?
Yeah. Maybe you can fall asleep to the knowledge of trafficking.
Oh my god. Can you imagine? Like, like what those learn insert language
Yes.
while you're
While you
sleeping.
sleep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like,
I've sorry, I've watched ASMR about history before.
yeah, yeah.
Typical knowledge.
I remember watching like learn, I think German while you sleep podcast. And then I was dreaming in German. Like I'm fluent in it. So
Yes.
learn about trafficking in person while you sleep, and then you'll be a lot more knowledgeable.
Exactly when you wake up.
Yeah.
So anyway, that aside, please do follow us on our social media platforms.
Mm-hmm.
As usual, we are
Yes.
at Project Liberate. That's PROJECTLIBER8. So yeah, thanks guys. See you
Thank you for
again
watching.
soon.
Yes.
Merry Christmas
Oh
and a Happy
yeah.
New
Happy New
Year.
Year's. Yes.
Yeah. Okay guys.
Bye
Bye.
bye.